Communication is defined as that of something that is communicated between two or more people or a group. The result of the communication varies from setting to setting, from person to person. Properly encoding the information that you are trying to send forth will determine whether it's received as a positive or as a negative. Using all the tools of verbal communication and understanding that each classroom as a whole is compiled of individuals, allowing us to communicate a group message with the ability to work one-on-one, taking into consideration that many personalities and physiological factors make up a classroom. While keeping all of this in mind, this should better enable educators to provide a positive line of communication between themselves, the senders, and their students, the receivers. In this speech, I will show the importance of good communication skills between an educator and their students. According to Polanowski, in Communication and Effective Teaching, there are different ways that a teacher can properly communicate their message. The written form of communication and its importance is stressed using interpersonal skills such as self-monitoring, which is an effective way to examine the possible breakdowns of communication between teachers and their students. A teacher needs to self-examine oneself to properly understand how to better communicate their message. This is an extremely form of communication when dealing with written communication. Tests and worksheets have got to properly have clear instructions that leave no room for error. An important part of communication and teaching is the use of teaching aids. Teachers are able to use these aids in order to help better communicate their lessons to their students. When all have heard the saying, we've all heard the saying, what I hear I forget, what I see I remember, what I do I know. William Glasser took this saying one step further and found that 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we hear and see, 70% of what we say, and 90% of what we say and do. These are the things that are remembered. These statistics prove the importance of effective communication towards our students in different ways. If a teacher does nothing but lecture students, they will only retain 20% of what you teach. If you send the message audibly and visually, they will remember 50%, which is a vast improvement, yet still leaves much to strive for towards our goals. As educators, our goal should be to hit the 90% mark and above. This can only be achieved through that of good communication. As Polanowski has shown in his Communication and Effective Teaching that go hand in hand, without this skill, it will be difficult to build the trust and the common ground that's needed between educators and their students. Relationships are always not easily established, but with good communication skills, it can be achieved. All learning begins with a good relationship between you, the educator, your students, and between their parents. All parties must believe that you have their best interest in hand. So, desiring only the best for our students and their ability to retain what has been taught to them, you can see the importance of good communication skills.